Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are going to be starting our unit on financial literacy. Okay, this has to deal with money. Okay, it's all about money. Money, it's all about the money. Okay. Okay, so we're going to start this by talking about simple and compound interest. We're going to talk about what interest is. Okay, so we are on simple and compound interest. And interest can be a good thing or a bad thing. Depending on what side you're on. Simple and compound interest. Simple and compound interest. Okay, let's talk about what interest is. Interest is like, let's say for instance, you were to borrow money from a bank. Okay, if you go to a bank and you say, I want a loan to buy a car, that's something that you guys may have to start be thinking about coming into the future. It's not going to be long before you start getting your driver's license and you want to buy your first car. Okay, if you do not save up the money to buy your first car, you and your parents probably, because you're going to have somebody help sign for it, you guys are going to have to get a loan to buy your first vehicle. Most people don't have the money to pay straight out cash for this. Okay, well, let's say a car, you go to the car lot and a car is $8,000. Okay, you get the loan for $8,000 from the bank. They don't just give you the money. Okay, they take a percentage of that total and they apply that to the principal that you have, the $8,000 that you bought, or that you borrowed, and you have to give that to them on top of it. Okay, so let's say your car loan is $8,000. Okay, and then they tell you that you have to pay a 3%, which is cheap, interest rate. Okay, so this $8,000 plus the money of this $3,000 is how much you actually borrow. Okay, it's the total that you're actually borrowing, or that you're actually paying. This is how banks earn money. They earn money out of giving you interest. Okay, so this would be like a negative connotation for what interest is. A positive would be like if you started a savings account. This would be negative. Okay, or this is something you don't really want to do. Okay, a positive is, let's say you have a savings account. Okay, and you put $300 into your savings account. And they pay you, they're going to give you a 3% interest rate on that. Okay, if you're savings, this is where you're spending. Okay, then the amount of money that has each year, you get paid. It goes into your account. Okay, so this would be a positive thing. So it depends on whether you are spending money or saving money, whether it's positive or negative for you. Okay, but it all has to do with interest. Interest is a percentage. Okay, so interest is a percentage that turns to money. Okay, so there's two different kinds of interest. They have simple interest and compound interest. Okay. Simple interest. This means that it's one rate no matter what. No matter how long you have it in there, you're going to get one rate no matter what. Okay. Compound interest means that it changes. Your money changes based on how often it's looked at. Okay. Basically, it's like they'll say that it's like compounded annually or quarterly. Okay. So basically, that's it in layman terms, as easy as I can put it. Is it simple interest? It's just one time. Okay. If you put it in there for 5 years, you're going to get that interest rate for 5 years. Compound interest is if it changes. If it says that you get this interest after this quarterly or this quarter or this yearly. Okay. It will tell you. It will say it's either compounded or it just has this interest rate. And then you do this, we figure these out by formulas. The simple interest formula is interest is equal to the principal times the rate times the time. So interest, this is interest, is equal to principal that's the amount of money you put in, rate, this is the percentage as a decimal, and change it to a decimal, and then T is for the time in years. Okay. There are some different things that you have to do when you are looking at simple interest versus compound interest. Okay? Compound interest the formula is, I'm going to box this in so you guys can see this. The amount of money is equal to the principal 1 plus the rate times time as the exponent. Okay, now I'm going to show you some examples where we're looking at simple and compound interest. Okay. Simple and compound interest. It is basically being able to take a word problem, pick out what you need to know from that. Okay, so I'm going to turn over to page 54 for us to do this problem. Do a couple of examples. We're going to do examples. Okay, let's say you have two savings accounts. So you have two savings accounts. Let's say your grandparents on your mom's side and your dad's side are going to have opened up savings accounts for you to go to school. Okay? Both have $100 in them to start. Okay? Both accounts have $100 to start with them. Their interest rates, so they both have an interest rate of 5%. All right? They both have an interest rate of 5%. One is simple and one is compounded annually. Okay? So one is simple. One is compounded annually. Okay. Which one gives you more total money at the end of 10 years? I'm going to let you write that down real quick. You have two savings accounts. Both have $100 to start. They both have interest rates of 5%, but one is simple and one is compounded annually. Which one gives you more total money at the end of 10 years? Okay, so how we do this, how we look at this, is we have to look at simple, the simple rate formula, and the compound. Sorry, simple interest and compound interest. Okay, we're going to put our formulas in there. This is I, and you'll be given this anytime you see this, or you can Google it. Interest equals principal rate times time. Compound is the amount of money is equal to the principal plus 1 plus the rate with the time as the exponent. So the very first thing that you're going to want to do is identify what the P, the R, and the T are, because they have this in common, the P, R, and T. P, R, T, right? Okay, so P is equal to 100. That's the principal. You have $100, okay? It's equal to the money. The rate is equal to the percent as a decimal. So we have 5%, and we have to change that to a decimal. That means 1, 2. That's equal to 0.05. And then the time in years. Luckily, this gives it to you in years. It's 10 years. We need both of these, the principal, the rate, and the time. Okay, principal, rate, and time. So for the interest on simple interest, We're going to find out how much money we make, how much the bank is paying us to keep our money there. Interest is equal to principal, which is 100 times 0.5 times 10. Okay, so I'm going to take my calculator and I'm just going to put that in. 100 parentheses, this is 0.05 parentheses times 10. And I get $50. Okay, so this is equal to 50. Is that how much money I have in my account? No, my total. That's the thing that makes this a little bit more complicated, is you have to remember if they're asking for interest, that's what this is. Okay, but they asked, what is the total? The total is equal to your principal plus the interest. Okay, principal plus interest. My principal was $100 plus my interest was $50. So my total is $150 with this account. All right, let's look at compound interest. This is the amount of money, okay, is equal to the principal plus 1 plus 0.05 and 10. Now this one is a little bit simpler because all we have to do is plug this into our calculator. So we are going to do 100 parentheses 1 plus 0.05, close my parentheses, put this little caret up to make this 10, and you get 162.88. So our amount of money is 162.88.9, so we're going to 89. Okay? This is the amount of money we have in this account. So which account is better? Which one's going to give us the most money? The account with the simple interest or the account with the compound interest? Yes, this one gives us $162.89 at the end of 10 years, and this one only gives us $150. Okay. So the compound account is better. All right, let's do another one. We're not going to write so much for this one. Okay, let's say that we are taking out a loan. Okay, we're going to take out a loan. We want to buy a computer for school, a new laptop. So we're going to take out $1,000. Okay, and it's going to be at an interest rate of 2.5% for 6 months. We're just doing a short-term loan. We want to get it paid off quick. Okay, so we have $1,000 at an interest rate of 2.5% for 6 months. So the first thing that we have to figure out is our principal, which was $1,000. Our rate, which is 2.5%, and we have to change that to a decimal, so we're moving it 2 times. 1, 2, adding a 0, so this is 0.025, and then our time. Oh, I have 6 months. Okay, 6 months. How many years does that equal? Well, there's 12 months in a year, so we're going to do 6 out of 12, which is 1/2. So that would be 0.5, okay? There's 6 months out of 12 months, so that's 1/2, okay? So when you're doing this, when you're figuring, if it gives it to you in months, you want the months that it tells you out of 12, because there's 12 months in a year. So our T is 0.5. So we're going to find out which one, we want to know which simple or compound is, we pay less interest. Okay, so this one we're only looking at the interest. Remember, simple is I equals principal rate times time. So we're going to do 1,000 times 0.025 times 0.5. $1,000 times 0.025. Let me just do parentheses here so it looks the same. 25 parentheses times 0.5. This one we only pay $12.50 in interest. So this one, our interest is equal to 12.5. All right, now our compound is the amount of money total is equal to the principal plus 1 plus the rate times time. So the amount of money is equal to 1,000 plus 1 plus 0.025, and then my number up top is 0.5. We just take those numbers that we found and we're plugging it in. 1,000 parentheses 1 plus 0.025, close my parentheses, caret 0.5. Okay, and the amount I'm paying here is $1,012.42. But this is the total amount I'm paying. Okay, if I want to know just my interest for this one, my interest is going to be my principal minus, this minus my principal. Okay, my amount of money minus my principal. So 1,012.42 minus my principal, how much I paid, and I get $12.40. So I still pay less interest, by 10 cents less interest when it's compounded. All right, I know this is difficult. Okay, I know this is difficult, but you just have to remember the formulas. All right, so we are going to write those formulas down again. Simple interest is equal to I equals PRT, and then the compound is P1 plus R and T. Okay, principal is the money, rate is percent, make sure it's a decimal. You've got to change it to the decimal. And then time is years. Even if it's a decimal too, if it's a half a year or a fourth of a year, something like that. This is the most important things with interest.